Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more exciting news as far as, or exciting topic as far as hip hop songs go. So the other day I was listening to Welcome to Atlanta with Jermaine Dupri and Ludacris. And then, of course they had the remix with all the different kind of reasons on it. But I was thinking about the best hip hop songs that are odes to the towns. So these songs that show the pride in your city or your state, those type of songs. And you can tell me what you think your favorite odes to a song, hip hop ode songs to their towns are, like to their hometowns. And we can discuss from there. But these are the songs that you dedicate to, that artists have dedicated to their city, their town, their state. Um, Songs that define the moment, songs that you can always go back to. Those songs, that are not even hip hop songs, but songs like Sweet Home Alabama, even a Tennessee song that's out, uh, Georgia from Ray Charles, song that plays every year on the Masters commercials every year. Songs that that you just couldn't live without in the genre, that are dedicated to someone's hometown or just a town that people love. They don't have to necessarily be from there, but they dedicated it. So similar to what Will Smith did for Miami. Huge record, one of his best songs in his discography, might I add. But these songs that put cities on the map or help reinvigorate the love for a city, even if you wasn't from that city. One of the songs that came to mind initially was Empire State of Mind, a song that reinforced the love for New York from Alicia Keys and Jay Z. Now, this was a huge record, and it was Jay Z's actually his first number one hit. So he has songs going all the way back to 95, 96, and never had a number one song to chart on Billboard until this Empire State of Mind, because people from other regions, other cities and nationalities, states, and other things like that were playing this song as if they were in New York or from New York, because the song was just so great that you didn't have to be from New York to appreciate it. And to put Alicia Keys on the hook was phenomenal, because he could have put a plethora of other artists on there, but I don't think it would have hit the same as Alicia Keys because her love of her town. I remember when she first came out and, you were seeing the buildings in New York. I wanted to go to New York since then. But that's just one of the loves for the city. And that's one of the biggest songs that New York has ever produced about New York. Now, this next song was a big hit as well, but it's more of a hip hop song opposed to, and it doesn't have a singer on the hook, which is the New York, New York song with Fat Joe, Ja Rule, and Jada Kiss. And this song was controversial because 50 Cent started a beef off this song with all of those artists, and it was a huge thing in the New York City circuit. But this was a huge record that brought passion back to the city, or reinvigorated that passion, reignited it, retooled, rekindled, whatever you want to use, for the city of New York. And they use it at the Yankee Stadium. I believe the Mets use it. The Giants and Jets use it. Uh, this song was a huge record in that region, and it's a huge record everywhere because it's just a great song. You don't have to be from New York to understand it, and that's what how great these old songs are. And then another song that I was thinking about, a huge song that was California Love with Tupac, especially with on a Dr. Dre beat. Tupac's amazing flow on that song, the high energiness of it. It's just a classic song that you have to put in the top old songs to a city of all time. And to stay on the West Coast, the Straight Outta Compton song is another one, stating their love for the city of Compton and what it's meant to them. So NWA at that time was a huge artist, and then to come off that Straight Outta Compton movie, just help put the accent, the exclamation mark on their legacy. Great movie, great biopic that was released. Didn't get enough credit as far as award consideration goes, but it's one of those movies I can always go back to and feel like I was actually watching the lives of those artists in NWA, especially having such legendary members in it. So Straight Outta Compton is another one. I talked about this one. The other one, the Jermaine Dupri, Welcome to Atlanta with Ludacris. And now this is when Atlanta was starting to get steaming hot. They had all of the artists coming up, your Ludacris's, your Jeezys, your Outkast, your T.I.'s, Jermaine Dupri and So Def had Bow Wow and all these different artists coming up. Even on the R&B circuit, they had Usher and other artists. But this song foreshadowed Atlanta taking over hip hop, and it was just the start of the beginning. So the regional remix had, people from St. Louis, New York, and all over the place, California, I believe. But this was a huge record, and I do think hip hop still lives in Atlanta until further notice. So nobody has really taken it over since then. It's been bits and pieces of people, but no one has had that influence in history that Atlanta has in hip hop in its 50-year history. And then I talked about Will Smith's Miami. He's from Philadelphia, but he made a song about Miami but he did a lot of movies there. He did a lot of appearances there. He probably did a lot of vacationing there. So his love for Miami really put a spotlight on Miami, and the video was classic. And just Will was on fire back then as well. He's always been a great actor, but then he's an underrated artist as well. So even if he doesn't write the music, the way he delivers it is amazing. Now, the next song, "Old Song to a City," was a song that didn't have the song in the title, but it has everything else: the energy, the emotion, the electricity of a old song to a city. And this is P.D. Pablo's "Raise Up." Now, this song is, North Carolina, you raise up. Now, that song is still, it definitely put North Carolina on the map. Now, these other songs that I talked about, they didn't necessarily put the city or a town or state on the map, but they just reinforce things. But this one really put North Carolina on the map. There wasn't too many artists from North Carolina that you knew about until PD Pablo, and then his love for North Carolina was showed on this Raise Up track. Now you have your J. Cole's now and a few others, but for the most part, it was only P.D. Pablo back then. And he set the tone in North Carolina for artists, especially rappers. But he put that city on the map. It was a big part of the NBA All Star Weekend one year, and it was played in Drumline and bunch of other movies. But it's one of those songs that definitely crossed over, and people can love just because of the production, and then the content wasn't too rough. So definitely kudos to P.D. Pablo for that. One of my underrated old songs is Kanye West's "Homecoming." Now, this song was a metaphoric song similar to Common's "I Used to Love Her," which is a metaphor for his love for hip hop, but he was using a woman to describe it. And it was the same thing for this Kanye West's "Homecoming." One of the biggest lines that stuck with me during that "Homecoming" song was, "If you really loved her, you would have never left her left to the airport to follow your dreams." Um, Strong song. One of the greatest metaphors to an ode to a city in hip hop history. And then, um, last song I want to talk about is Lord Tariq and Peter Gunn's "Uptown Baby," another old song to a city. Um, Uptown, um, New York. But this is summer. I listened to this song on 106 in Park. I mean, listen to it and watch the video on 106 in Park. Probably, maybe I don't want to over exaggerate, probably 1,000 times. Cause, and I didn't even really know what the song was about back then, but it just had a classic beat, the high energy, the video in the Yankee Stadium. I will always remember that video and that song, and it always has a special place in my heart for it because this was around, I want to say I was 12 or 13 years old, but I can still remember the times of listening to this and watching this video. Classic times in the summertime, especially when you're out of school. Um, but, I never had heard an impact of a old song like this song had across all states and cities like that. And then honorable mention, I just want to say Nelly's Country Grammar was a big hit as well as far as an ode to a city goes. Just had St. Louis buzzing, and it did put St. Louis on the map. There wasn't really many rappers until Nelly came along. Then you got your Chingies, then you got your Jaquans, and others like that. But until then, there really wasn't any rappers to come out of St. Louis until Nelly and the St. Lunatics, and they had a great discography. And then they had the St. Louis Arch in the video, so it made everybody know what type of time St. Louis was on at that time. But definitely should be considered for an ode to a city. But tell me what you think your favorite odes to a city song are in a hip hop and just hip hop in general. And then until next time, I'll see you next time.